I'm Pastor Steve, and I'm working today on an Evans motor lift. An Evans motor lift is an old time, this thing is probably about 100 years old. This here is not original, but this was used to lift motors out of trucks. That's what it was made for. Two guys would just take it, or one strong guy, plug it into a pulley system, turn it on. It ran on electricity, big electric motor, and then it would just wind up and lift that motor out of the truck so that you could rebuild it however you want. Well, can't do much with it now, so it's going to go to scrap metal. What I want to talk to you about today is old ways we have of looking at things that don't really work very well today. See, your Evans motor lift is obsolete at this point in mechanical history, but we are still using some very obsolete ways of thinking about things that go on around us. One of the things that is obsolete is the conspiracy and the conspiracy theory. So what I'd like to talk to you about a little bit is how we are with conspiracy theories, because I'm going to tell you that if you believe in a conspiracy theory, chances are pretty good you are wrong, because conspiracies don't really work very well. The first thing you need to understand is how we are with the knowledge, with what we don't know. Because if you know a small percent of the truth regarding a larger issue, like you could take any issue that you want to look at that is a large and complicated issue, your knowledge of it, or my knowledge of it, or anybody's knowledge of it is going to be only a small portion. So we take that small portion of knowledge that we think we have, and then we have to fill in the blank. So you may only know, let's say, 5% of the total information about a complicated issue. What about the other 95%? What we do with the other 95% is we make stuff up so that we can fill in the blanks. In other words, we end up in a situation where what we have is 5% proven valid information and 95% supposition and fantasy around that. We do that. That's what people do. Give them a little bit of information, and we're pretty much wired for this, because in the old days, this is how we had to be able to solve problems. You got a little bit of information, just kind of fill in the rest with supposition and imagination. Second point about conspiracies. If you've ever tried to lead a group, if you've ever tried to lead any group at all, a Cub Scout pack, a church group, a youth group, being a pastor of a church, being a teacher in a school, being a supervisor in a company or a business, anybody who's ever done the work of leadership knows it's like herding cats. You can have the best plan and the best idea and the best project that your group needs to work on. Say, hey folks, come on, let's do the project. Let's be about the thing, whatever it is that we're trying to work on. And what you get is, well, I'd rather do this, or let's do that, or let's go this way, or let's go that way. Everybody's got a different idea about what they want to do. Now, if you look at conspiracy theories, specifically, in the conspiracy theories, what people do is they imagine this group that has its act together so well that everybody is in lockstep, doing the thing, working together, making this horrible reality come to pass, whatever it is. It's a fantasy, because human organizations don't ever really work that way. It's incredibly difficult to keep any group of people on track on any given project that needs to be accomplished. And I firmly believe that. Now, another thing that is an interesting point on conspiracy theories, there's this fantasy not only that there is this cabal of people who are so efficient and so effective at what they're doing that they can just all work together perfectly. It's even fantasized that they can do it intergenerationally. In other words, I looked at a book recently that talked about a group evolving from ancient Egypt right down through history and Western civilization to the present day with the same basic vision and agenda. Doesn't happen. I'd like to offer you a real simple leadership principle that was set up by Albert Humphrey called the SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis all by itself is a magnificent tool. SWOT analysis is for leaders looking at the projects that they need to accomplish. And it's very simple. You look at your strengths, what there is about your organization that is working well. You look at your weaknesses, what there is about your organization that's not working well. You look at the threats you look at the opportunities. SWO, O stands for opportunities, that in the context of any given day, there are always opportunities that your organization can take that can optimize what it's doing. And then there are the threats. So it's SWOT. All organizations have threats to their effectiveness. So good leaders magnify and optimize the strengths. They minimize and manage and strengthen the weaknesses. They avail themselves of the opportunities, and they minimize and manage the threats. Now, the reason I mention SWOT analysis with respect to conspiracy theories is that as organizations endure over time, they evolve. All organizations change. They change steadily, month by month, year by year. The issues we were managing today are not the issues we're managing 3 years ago or 6 years ago or 9 years ago, and they are not the issues we will be managing in the future. And this is why the whole conspiracy mindset is just an obsolete way of thinking, because you have this idea that there's this cabal that is somehow managing to operate year after year after year after year in the same way. The SWOT analysis basically proves that the situation is changing, that the strengths you have this week are not necessarily what you had last year, that the weaknesses that may be coming in the organization are not the same as they were, that the opportunities that you have are not the same, and the threats are not the same. In other words, we manage and lead organizations according to what we've got, the situation, the context we have right now. And the conspiracy theory is just like this old piece of equipment here. It is obsolete. It doesn't work anymore. So just use this if you can. If you've got, like, I don't know, crazy Uncle Bob or somebody, whomever, who's a believer in conspiracy theories, share this information with them so that you can help understand that really the situations we face are changing readily. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm Pastor Steve. If you want more information or need any assistance with any of these things, you can check out my website, pastorsteve.org. And thank you for, not pastorsteve.org. It's pastorsteve.faith. Talk about obsolete. pastorsteve.faith. Faith. That's the website. And thank you all very much.